Webcast has been started, Steve, has it? He's on mute.
Yes, we started.
Okay, thank you. Well, I think we'll start the meeting. Welcome everybody to this licensing subcommittee meeting. I'll just do the webcasting announcement. I'd like to remind everybody present that the meeting will be broadcast live to the internet or filmed and will be capable of repeated viewing for another use by such third parties. Please also remind members of the public who have registered to speak that they will be admitted to the meeting at the appropriate time. Please be aware that if technical difficulties interrupt the meeting that cannot be overcome, I may have to adjourn the meeting. So just a few introductions to start with. I'm Councillor Richard Morgan, Chairman of the panel. We have Councillor Stephen Neville and Councillor Ian Hadley on the first application. We have Peter Jones, the licensing officer, and also Denise Bastick. Are you taking part in this one, Denise? Okay, right. We have Jackie Leather and Vivian Messenger from Democratic Services. We have, where are we?
Councillor Rolfe.
Oh, Councillor Rolfe. Sorry, thank you, Jackie. Councillor Rolfe is the fourth member of the panel who will only be observing. He will not take part in when we go into private session for the decision. And we also have Lee Cole, our legal advisor. And Debbie Houghton is another licensing officer. Who else I can see on there? Now, we've got the applicant is Mark Killick.
No.
And also Lisa Sharp, you are?
Sorry, I'm the applicant.
And
Councillor Morgan, Mahir Killick is for the Hive, the third application.
Oh, sorry.
Lisa Sharp is for Morrow's, the first application.
But he still stays in the meeting. All right, okay.
Yeah.
Right, Lisa, thank you for that. You're the applicant. Anybody else I've missed? We've got Ollie Porter, Essex Highways. That would be for a later case, I think, Olive, isn't it?
Yeah, that's for the street trading casino.
Yeah, okay. Anybody else I've missed? Right. The procedure of the meeting is that I'll ask our licensing officer, Peter Jones, to introduce the item, what the application is all about. It will be then up to the applicant to put to us why they want this license, and then we'll go through, we'll ask questions of the applicant. The objectors, I don't think, are here for this application, so they won't be asking questions. It'll be then the licensing, the objectors have a chance to sum up at the end without introducing anything new, and also the applicant. We'll then go into private session and discuss the matter, and then we'll come back and give a decision as soon as possible. So our first application is for the premises licence of Morrow's, Wollaston Hall, Abridge Road, Chigwell. And I'll ask Peter Jones to introduce the item, please.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning, everybody. An application has been made by Morrow's Chigwell Limited, Wollaston Hall, Abridge Road, Chigwell, for a new premises licence at the same address. The application is for licensable activities of the provision of live music indoors, the provision of recorded music indoors, late night refreshments indoors, and the sale of alcohol for consumption on the premises. The licensable hours sought are Tuesday and Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m, Thursday, 11 a.m. to midnight, Friday and Saturday, 11 a.m. to 1 a.m, and Sunday, 11 a.m. till midnight. The application was received on the 10th of November 2020. The operating schedule sets out conditions which will be attached to the licence if this application is granted. The application was made as the previous premises licence for the location lapsed by virtue of the premises licence holder being a company which had dissolved. The responsible authorities have all received a copy of the application. It was also advertised at the premises and in a local newspaper. A copy of the blue notice and the newspaper advert are attached to the report. All residences and businesses within 150-metre radius of the premises were also individually consulted. The authority has received one representation from a member of the public, which is attached and relates to the prevention of crime and disorder and the prevention of public nuisance. There were also responses from Essex Police, Environmental Health, Essex Safeguarding, Community Resilience, Essex Fire and Rescue, Chigwell Parish Council and Planning, all of whom have made no comments. They are also attached to the report. Finally, I've also attached a copy of the previous premises licence that lapsed. This will allow you to see that the conditions offered within this application are the same as those that were previously on the licence, and also the hours applied for are less than those that were previously authorised. Unless there are any questions, that's the application before you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jones. I'll now ask Lisa Sharp to put the application before us, please.
Hi. So the application is for Moros. It's like Peter said, it's less than the hours were before. We actually only open the premises when we have a private event booked. So it's never open just to the public as a bar or any sort of restaurant or anything like that. So it is only when we have bookings. That's why we've left the hours, because normally we only open Fridays and Saturdays, some Sundays. So the midweek ones are very, very, very rare for us. I think that I don't know what else I need to, if I need to say anything else. Sorry, I've never done this before.
Is that all you want to say at the moment, Lisa?
Yeah, I don't think I need to say really anything else.
Okay, well, you might get a chance right at the end if you remember anything else you want to add.
Okay.
So we will ask you questions on the application. When, how long have you been connected with the application site?
So I've been at the venue for 8 years, but I took over the lease of the premises in 2018.
So are you the designated premises supervisor then?
No, I am not. No, so the business is mine. I'm the director there, but the DPS is the same DPS as before. It's Lee Marnes.
Okay, and what about the actual staff you're going to be using? Are they all being trained for this application or this job, really?
They're all trained, yes. I'm actually in the middle of applying to do a course so that I have a license for myself. But Lee is always on site when we have a job running. Like I say, it's 2 to 3 days a week. So he works in construction and some of the other time, but he is always on site when we are physically open.
Okay, and also it probably says in the report, what numbers are you limited to or expected?
So our numbers for our average party numbers are around 100. We don't do very many that are much more than that. Normally 80 to 100 is our average party size.
Okay, I think so. Councillor Neville, you have a question for the applicant.
Well, no, I have a question for the licensing officer, actually. It's to do with late night refreshments. My understanding of late night refreshments are they run from 2300 hours. Anything before that is not late night refreshments. So on this application, we have Tuesday and Wednesday late night refreshments from 11 o'clock in the morning to 11 o'clock in the evening. Well, you can't have, as far as I'm aware, late night refreshments at that point. So surely that shouldn't actually be there. And apart from that, of course, late night refreshments should, if my understanding is correct, should run from 2300 hours to any of the later times that are being called on.
Yes, Councillor Neville, you're absolutely correct. That is the case. So late night refreshment would actually only be relevant for Thursday from 11 p.m. till midnight, Sunday 11 till midnight, and then Friday and Saturday 11 p.m. till 1 a.m. In the same respect that live music and recorded music for alcohol-related establishments only becomes licensable activity at 11 p.m. as well. It was just more for the core hours that you had there for all the activities.
Okay, any other questions, Councillor Neville?
No.
Okay. Councillor Hadley, you have any questions for the applicant, please?
No, I don't.
Okay. I don't think there's any other questions any of us want to ask. So if the objectors are not here, we've got the objections on our agenda. So we won't be hearing from them. Anything you want to say about the objections, Peter, Mr. Jones?
No, I've got nothing to add in respect of the objection.
Okay. So going on from there, then it's just for Leader Sharp to anything else you want to add to your application?
No, I don't think so. No.
Okay. Any officers or legal department, any questions or comments?
No.
Okay. Well, it looks like we've done that one. So we'll go into private session, discuss the application, and we'll come back as soon as possible.
Okay. Thank you.
Everybody will now that's not involved in the private discussions will now be put into the waiting room, and you'll be brought back when.
We've restarted.
Thank you. Everybody back, I think? Yes.
Just got Olive Porter from ECC coming in. I think she has a slow connection.
That's it. Yes. So I think we've got everybody. Right, the decision of the licensing subcommittee for the premises address Waterston Hall, Abridge Road, Chigwell, Essex. We consider that the application satisfies the necessary requirements in order to be considered. It is on the provided form, it is being advertised and relevant notifications given. We are grateful to the parties for their presentation to this morning. We have taken these and within the material submitted to us into account. We have considered what is appropriate to promote the 4 licence objectives and the relevant parts of the Council's licensing policy and the Home Office guidance. During our deliberations, no issues or law or policy arose, so the committee are not required to call it in advisory office to advise us. The committee noted all the submissions and representations, both oral and written, made in relation to this application. The decision of the subcommittee is the application for a premises licence in respect of Waterston Hall, Abridge Road, Chigwell, Essex, be granted, subject to the conditions as submitted by the applicant on the 10th of November and dated the 9th of November, which we consider are reasonable, proportionate, and will not undermine the licensing objectives. Also, we are attaching the mandatory conditions contained in Section 1921 of the Licensing Act 2003. The applicants and the objectors are reminded that the right of appeal to the Magistrates' Court within 21 days of this written application, notification of this decision. Signed, Richard Morgan, on behalf of the committee. So that application is granted, and that concludes that first item. Okay.
Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you. We're now going on to the second application. Whoops. The application is for and this will be discussed by myself, of course, and Stephen Neville and Brian Rolfe. Okay. Right. The application is for a street trading consent, Wakes Arms, roundabout, Epping High Road, Epping, Essex. And this is on page 73, 90. Who's actually taking this officer? Which licensing officer?
Debbie Houghton.
Oh, Debbie, you're muted. That's
Right,
it.
yeah, it's me, Chair. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Need I read out the procedures again? Or so there's no. I think actually we'll introduce somebody else. Olive Porter, you're the Essex Highways, aren't you? Can you unmute?
Yes. Yes.
And you'll be speaking as a objector to this application, will you?
I will be. Yes.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, well, we'll get you in at the appropriate time. So I'll ask Debbie Houghton to introduce this item, please.
Thank you, Chair. As you rightly said, this report focuses around the renewal of a street trading consent under the Local Government Miscellaneous Provisions Act of 1982. On the 6th of November 2020, the Licensing Department received an application for the renewal of an existing street trading consent from a John Henry White of Campshill Farm, Levens Green, Ware, to trade flowers, plants and Christmas trees at the Wakes Arms roundabout next to the Shell Garage at Epping High Road, Epping, Essex. A copy of the application is attached to the report. The application sets out the relevant licensing activities applied and the times requested for the consent, and that is for the sale of flowers, plants and trees, Monday to Sunday, 8 o'clock until 9 o'clock in the evening. There is no requirement in the Local Government Miscellaneous Provisions Act of 1982 to carry out any consultation, but the Licensing Department does notify Essex Police, Essex Fire and Rescue, the Environmental Team, Public Health, Essex County Council Highways, the Town Council to the relevant location and the ward councillors. The authority has received one representation of objection to this application, and that is from Essex County Council Highways. That is really it, Chair. Really, that's the end of the report. I'll hand it back to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that, Debbie Houghton. The applicant is not here, I understand. Well, we've got the application on the paperwork from Mr. John Henry White. How long is you might help us, Debbie? How long has he actually been trading there over the years?
It's before my time, Chair. I've been here 3.5 years now. I think he's been trading for a number of years there. Unfortunately for us, Mr. White has never provided a mobile phone number, and to my knowledge, he doesn't have an email address either. So all contact has been made via letters, and he was asked to contact us regarding this hearing, and to date, as far as I'm aware, we've had no contact.
Okay. Members of the panel, any questions on the application? I know it's very difficult when the applicant's not here, but we'll have to go through the paperwork if we. So it's Councillor Rolfe or Councillor Neville first. Councillor Neville.
Yes, just we're coming on to the objector, but she intimated that Epping Forest District Council had complaints about the applicant before and his business. Can from Epping Forest side, can you illuminate that, please?
Thank you, Councillor Neville. I do believe there have been complaints in the past, but this is the first time that we've received a letter of, or an email of representation against the renewal, which is why we're now at the hearing.
Can you just highlight, do you know what those complaints were about from your perspective?
They were exactly what Highways have been referring to, complaints within the bus lay-by.
Okay. Anything else, Councillor Neville? Okay. Councillor Brown-Rolfe, any questions regarding the application?
I keep forgetting to mute. No, I haven't got any questions. I was interested in the last one, but this is the only query I can see on it at the moment. Yeah.
Okay. Just another question for Debbie. How long does is it an annual license or is it for so many years?
It is for 12 months, Chair. that's how long we have to grant the consent. But this particular person is generally there for about 4 weeks, 4 to 5 weeks maximum each year.
And in the past, he's applied for a licence, but there's been no objections then?
That's correct, Chair.
Yeah. Okay. Councillor Neville, you have a question?
Yes, I do. Would that 4 to 5 weeks be in the run up to Christmas? If so, he's missed the boat. Because the licence runs from November last year to November this year.
Because we received the objection from Essex Highways, we allowed on this occasion because we couldn't get a hearing before Christmas, we had to allow the applicant to continue to trade until a hearing was held. So he's no longer there. He finished the week of building up to Christmas, and it is for Christmas trees.
Yes, I've personally been by there several times when he's been trading there, over many years, actually. Yeah. So we now move on really to, there's no question on the applicant. We'll now move on to the objections from Essex Highways, and I'll ask Ollie Porter to put their objections to us, please.
Good morning, Chair. Thank you for allowing me to speak. Unfortunately, Essex County Council didn't always receive the street trading requests through to them. And over the last 2 or 3 years, we have raised concerns over this particular site. Especially last year, we raised concerns. And then we got a complaint from a member of public because their child was nearly run over by the cars that had stopped there. But more importantly, the applicant sometimes sleeps on this site. There isn't very much forward visibility. It's in an area that's tapered and is marked bus stop. And all his customers are pulling into that, which means that the buses can't pull into it safely. They can't drop off their passengers safely. And we don't feel that because of the egress at the petrol station, plus another vehicular access, plus a wooden shed that's blocking forward visibility, that that cars can safely park there for quite some time while they're choosing their Christmas tree. We feel that there are other locations such as bigger laybys that would provide a much safer environment for his business. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Questions, members? Councillor Rolfe, have you any questions for the objector regarding Essex Highways?
No, I'm fully aware, being living locally, that they've been there for a number of years, and I must admit it is sometimes a little difficult to get past. Traffic gets held up if you're coming up, particularly from up Woodland Hill or onto the roundabout, then off it if there's anything major blocking. But I've never been held up there for more than a few minutes, and I'm a bit surprised. The remarks about the child being nearly run down. It's all a little bit vague. I mean, how old was the child, and what was the as far as I'm concerned, what were the parents doing letting the child run around there? I just think we need a bit more information on that before we take any real decision. But I'm not aware of whether we can delay it. Have we got to give a decision one way or the other today? Thank you.
Okay, can you answer that question regarding the child, please?
The child had got off the bus, and because the bus couldn't park correctly, the parents were there to pick it up, and because of the activity going on with the purchasing of the Christmas trees, his child nearly got hit. Now, that is the email that I got and I shared with Epping Council.
Okay, thank you. Does that answer your question, Councillor Rolfe?
Well, yes, it does. And I mean, the fact that the child was getting off the bus, yes, it does indicate. I wasn't sure if the child was just running up and down the pavement. Traffic. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Neville. No questions? Denise, I can see you waving. You have a question?
Debbie.
It's Debbie.
Oh, Debbie, sorry.
That's okay. I don't know if it would help at all, but we have come up with a solution for the applicant to have somewhere else other than where he's been trading from for a number of years. And I have spoken with Essex County Council regarding this, and that's down Keynes Lane, because we have no one else trading down there now.
Councillor Neville.
I'm presuming he'd have to apply for a separate licence. That would do.
Yeah.
And secondly, does his current licence still run out in November this year? Okay.
Okay. Presumably, there is. I know there's a wide area in Keynes Lane that would be suitable. Yeah, it sounds a better idea. Right, Debbie.
I was just going to mention, Chair, that there is a lay-by down in Keynes Lane, and I have spoken with Olive from Essex County Council regarding this position for the trader. He hasn't come back to me yet as to whether he would find that acceptable, but the decision today is whether where he's trading from now is safe for him to continue to trade there for the future.
Okay. Any other comments from anybody or questions? No, right. But if there's anything else you want to say from Essex Highways, Olive Porter?
No, thank you, Chair.
Right, okay. So we'll go, I think it's now time to go into private session then, please. So if you stop the webcast and put everybody else who's not concerned into the waiting room, please. We're just waiting for
Essex County Council.
Highways, Olive Porter. Yeah. Oh, right, we're all there. Okay. Right, this is the Licensing Subcommittee decision sheet for an application for a renewal street trading consent under Local Government Miscellaneous Provisions Act 1982. The applicant, Mr. John Henry White. The location is ground next to the lay-by Wake Arms roundabout, Epping New Road, Essex. Description of goods to be sold: flowers, plants, trees, Monday to Sunday between the hours of 8 a.m. and 9 p.m. The application has been treated on its own merits, and this subcommittee has taken the decision based upon the merits of the application and the relevant representations received. During our deliberation in private session, our advisory officers gave us no further information. The decision of the subcommittee is that consent shall not be granted. And the reason for this, the reason for not granted is in the interest of public safety. Can he appeal? Unless he can't, can he?
No.
No. So that is the decision of this committee, that it not be granted. And as with Debbie.
Can I just confirm that this is going to be moving forward a future for any consents to be not granted for that location?
Yes. All agree to that, I think, yes. And you will have a word with Debbie, you will have a word with the applicant and mention about Keynes Lane or somewhere else?
I have already spoken to him.
Okay, fine.
I wrote out to him, but he's not responded. But that will be his decision this November if he reapplies.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. So thank you very much, and thank Ollie Porter from Essex Highways for giving us all that information, and that part of the agenda is completed. Thank you all for attending. Right, we'll move on to item 3, which is the Hive. So, Councillor Neville, you sitting out this one? Okay. So the 3 members will be myself, Councillor Rolfe and Councillor Ian Hadley. We have the applicant here, Dr. Read's name there, Malik Kilik.
Here, Killick.
That's it. Welcome. You're the applicant yourself or the agent?
I'm the licensing agent, so
Okay,
I'll be
thank you.
representing.
And we've got another one here, Sina Yildiz. Is it just on the screen, no photograph? Who has nothing to do with this application?
She's the applicant.
She's the applicant. Can we get her to unmute or get so we can see her when she speaks, or she's not on?
I may call her as a witness, or if you want to ask direct questions to her, she's here to be able to answer your
she's
questions.
with you. Okay, that's fine. Okay.
She's not with me. She's connected, I believe. Also.
Yeah, you okay, fine.
Yeah.
Okay. So as mentioned, the application is for the Hive at Chigwell Lane, Loughton. How are we going to do this? I think it's Denise.
Yes.
You're taking the application,
Yes,
right? The applicant. The application will be done by a licensing officer, Denise Bastick, all about what the application is about. It was then the applicant's agent to tell us why he wants this license. We would ask you questions with no objectors, I understand here. So they won't be asking you questions. And then we'll go from there with once we ask you questions. If there's no other thing from the objectors, we'll go anything you want to add at the end without introducing anything new, and then we'll go into private session and discuss the application. So I'll hand over now to Denise Bastick, the licensing officer. If you could put the case before us, please. The application.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. An application has been made by Ms. Sima Yildiz for a variation to the premises licence for the Hive, 38B Chigwell Lane, Loughton, IG10 3NY. The authority received the application on the 9th of October 2020. A copy of the present licence for the premises, the application for variation and the public notice are attached to the agenda. The applicant is requesting an extension to the current hours for the sale of alcohol from 0800 to 2300 Monday to Sunday, and a seasonal variation of 0800 to midnight on Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve. Also to add the provision of late night refreshment from 2300 to midnight on Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve. The standard opening hours of the premises will be 0800 to 2300 Monday to Sunday, and non-standard opening hours of 0800 to midnight on Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve. The responsible authorities have received a copy of the application. It was advertised at the premises and in a local newspaper. Whilst the applicant did set out details of the application in the newspaper notice, it only referred to the hours for provision of late night refreshment on Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve, and not the seasonal variation hours for those days. Licensing verbally discussed this matter with one of our legal advisors. As this was a minor omission, it was decided to allow the application to proceed. The authority has received one representation from Loughton Town Council and one representation from Loughton Residents Association Plans Group. The representations relate to the prevention of public nuisance and protection of children from harm. The application was also, there was a consultation. All residences and businesses within a 150-metre radius of the premises were individually consulted. Thank you.
Thanks very much. So now if the applicant's agent can put the case for us on this application, please.
Great. Thank you, Chair. Good morning, everyone. My name is Maher Kilic. I'm from NARS, applicant's agent. I would like to begin by wishing you a happy and healthy new year. Thank you, Dennis, for the introduction. This is an application for a variation of a premises license to extend the sale of alcohol hours. The applicant, Mrs. Sema Yildiz, is a premises license holder and a DPS of the premises since the January 2020, which it's been a year. The cafe offering breakfast, lunch, and dinner. The capacity of the premises is quite small. They can accommodate only 15 individuals inside the premises and 12 outside. Currently, alcohol is served with substantial meal only. This is an important point to make, I believe. As said, premises is already licensed and serving alcohol on and off the premises from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday to Sunday. They have demonstrated that they can run a premises without any concern to the nearby residents, as there is no complaint history at all for this application or before this application. Perhaps it's worth to mention that Sema Yildiz, the applicant, had been our customer over 13 years. She had a late night cafe in Old Street, which was licensed until 5 a.m. in the morning and never had any issues in relation to her management over 13 years. In relation to two objections, I've heard they are not present here at the moment, but I will say they are irrelevant because I would like to remind you the guidance issued under Section 182 of the Licensing Act 2003, paragraph 8.97. Any decision of the licensing authority on any application for provisional statement or premises license, they don't need a planning permission or building control approval. They are, basically considered under different legislation. And the need, which has been mentioned on both objections, is not a matter for the licensing committee to basically take into account, as there is no cumulative impact in relation to these premises. Again, I will refer you to paragraph 14.19 if you need to seek further information. Applicant obviously is aware regarding any planning conditions that have on existing planning permission, and paragraph again 14.65 is clearly states there are circumstances when, as a condition of planning permission, a terminal hour has been set for the use of premises for commercial purposes, and where these hours are different to the licensed hours, the applicant must observe the earlier closing time, and she is aware of this, and she will be seeking a planning permission application if this application is successfully granted by your authority. I will say in summary, the objections are the form of theory. There is no evidence. You can grant this application without any hesitation, chairs and members. And if in the future those speculation or unsubstantiated in you actually experienced by the said interested parties, then they can use the review mechanism with the actual evidence they may have in the future. So unless I can assist you further, Chair, that's in short my representation.
Thank you very much for that presentation. Questions from the members of the panel? Councillor Hadley, have any questions or comments, please? You better unmute though first, Councillor Hadley.
Yes, just a question to start with to Denise. The map on page 112 is incorrect. It's showing the wrong end of the industrial estate. And the hive is actually on Chigwell Lane, opposite the Mercedes dealer. And this map doesn't show anything at all. That's all for the time being. Anybody else like to carry on from me?
Denise, have you noted that comment?
I have noted the comment. Because this is a variation, that is the original plan that's attached. There isn't a new plan submitted with the variation because it doesn't relate to the layout, but I will investigate.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Rolfe, have you any questions regarding this application, please? You better unmute as well, please.
Beg your pardon. Sorry, I haven't got any questions at the moment. I've got myself in a mess here. Okay, I'm back in business now. Sorry.
Yeah, you're all right. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I haven't. I haven't got a question at the moment. Can I reserve the right to come back on something?
Yeah. Okay. As regards, I have no questions. Well, probably one for Denise. What hours are they got at the moment for licensing?
It's 0800 to 1800 hours.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So that's why the application here. We don't have the objectors here. Have any of the officers any questions to the application before we go on to objections? No. Okay. The objections, prevention of public nuisance. I don't know where. It's a pity they're not here to explain it. A lot of and the same with the Loughton residents and the other objections.
Councillor Morgan.
Yes, Jackie.
I did invite both of them. Loughton Town Council. They said that they weren't going to attend. Their objections were written, and I didn't hear from the LRA.
Okay. Well, I don't know whether we take that into consideration. They're not very strong objections or what quite, but there we are. So we have no objections, no questions for the objectors because they're not here really. Any further questions for the applicant? No. Councillor Rolfe, you all right?
I'm fine.
Yes. And Councillor Hadley, you're okay. Now we come to the stage now where there's anything else you want to add regarding the application for the applicant's agent. If you want to say anything extra which you haven't already spoken about.
Chair, this is a very straightforward application in my opinion. I've said what I believe covered pretty much the points. I've got nothing further to add.
Okay, thank you very much. Any officers? No? Okay, well, we can now go into a private session. If you could stop the webcast, and we're going to private session to discuss the application. Thank you. I think everybody's there, are they? Okay, right. The decision of the licensing subcommittee for the premises of the Hive 38B Chigwell Lane, Loughton. We consider that the application satisfies the necessary requirements in order to be considered. It is on the prescribed form. It has been advertised and relevant notifications given. We have taken into account the relevant written and oral representations, the 4 licensing objectives and the Council's licensing policy and the Secretary of State's guidance. During our deliberation in private session, our advisory officers go no further advice. The decision of the subcommittee is the application to vary the premises licence in respect of the Hive 38B Chigwell Lane, Loughton, Essex, be granted, subject to the following conditions, which, in the opinion of this subcommittee, are reasonable, proportionate in the public interest for the promotion of the licence and its objectives, subject to the existing conditions on the licensing modification as set out in the application to vary this licence. So the application is granted, and the applicants or the objectors can appeal to the Magistrates Court within 21 days of the date of this written notice. Okay, thank you. I think that can, so that is granted. Thank you all for your presentation and guidance. And
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, members.
Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of the day.
Okay, thank you. Right, members, so that concludes this morning's procedures. Have I got anything else to read? No need to include the public and press. So we'll go on, we'll close down now until this afternoon at 2 o'clock, when we've got myself, Councillor Hadley, and Councillor Rolfe, and Councillor Sumka. Who will be licensing officers do we have this afternoon? Are you with us, Denise, or?
I'm not with